Welcome to another edition of Stadium Unplugged. My name is Jay Menon, and if you're not too familiar with our show, it's where we sit down with global sports personalities to find out who is the real person behind the stats and championship medals. We want to know who they are outside of the game that made them a household name, the turning points in their life, and how they arrived to where they are today. In the hot seat this time is a man who's best known for his days playing for a talented Liverpool team in the 1990s and appearing in an unforgettable FA Cup final against Manchester United. In all, he made more than 400 league appearances for 5 different clubs. He also played for the Republic of Ireland in a couple of World Cups. In Asia, he's well known as a TV pundit and player in Masters tournaments. If you don't already know, I'm talking about the original Spice Boy, Jason McAteer. Welcome to Stadium Unplugged.
Yeah, great to be here.
Okay, let's start with, the Spice Boy moniker. I know
you're
seething. I can feel it almost. As in, how do you feel about that?
I think in Asia it's quite, I think people think it's quite an affectionate term that we like, but back at home it's quite a derogatory term really, and we kind of don't like it.
All right, of course that came about because of the suits that you wore in the FA Cup.
It was the suits, and it was the fact that my team was quite young. You know, Jamie Redknapp and Phil Babb and Steve McManaman, Robbie Fowler, Rob Jones, and obviously Manchester United's team as well, with Beckham, Giggs, Scholes, the Nevilles. We were all of the same age, and probably Manchester United and my Liverpool team were going at it for the leagues and the cups, and we were very, very close to them at the time. And I think because we finished runners-up a lot of the time and they sort of had the edge on us, we got the term Spice Boys, and it wasn't very nice, to be fair, because the term was meaning we were out all the time in nightclubs and going out with pop stars and models and all this kind of stuff, but we weren't.
Okay. How about Trigger? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's true.
How did that name come about, though?
I was in a restaurant. I went to the World Cup in America in 1994 with the Irish team, and we were out for a meal with the lads, and the girl came over to me, the waitress, and the lads were being a bit boisterous, and she said to me, what do you want to eat and what do you want to drink? So I ordered, but I tried to make a bit of conversation with her to make her feel more relaxed. Yep. So I said to her, where are you from? And she went, I'm from Pennsylvania. And I went like that, And she went, no, that's Transylvania, you idiot. So all the lads sort of laughed, and they said, right, your nickname's Trigger. And Trigger was a really daft character in a comedy series in England. Okay. He was the person who was really daft. And they put me in that category and said I was really daft. And my nickname was Trigger after that day.
So it's okay to call Jason McAteer Trigger, but not Spice Boy.
Yeah, or Dave, because when we were at Liverpool, Rob Jones's nickname was Trigger, and then I signed and was also Trigger. So they needed to change the nicknames, so they come up with Dave for me. Now
we're going to take you back, okay? Your uncle was into boxing.
That's right.
You were into judo.
That's right.
And then how did you get into, football?
Well, boxing was like you said, my uncles were very good boxers. They were champions, European champions and Commonwealth champions. And so always that sporty kind of wanting to compete and fight at an early age was in the family. So my mum, obviously seeing my dad and his brothers go through this boxing career and end up with the nose and ears like this, and she didn't want me to sort of go down that road. So judo was kind of around my area at the time. There was a few judo clubs and martial arts clubs, and I kind of fell into it and I really enjoyed it, and before I knew it I was a champion of my area. And then I got to around 13, 14, 15 and really got into football. It was a big thing on Merseyside. Liverpool were massive as a football club, Everton were big. So all the kids started playing football, so judo kind of went out of my life and football came in. And I enjoyed the team sports. Judo was very individual, where football is a team sport, and I enjoyed the company and being around a team.
Your major influences, was there, 1, 2 people that you look to and say, I want to do football because of this person?
Yeah, I mean, obviously playing the game, it was great, and I loved sort of the grassroots of it, and being in school and playing, and like I said, the team thing. But really, to get a Liverpool ticket was like a golden ticket. You just couldn't get them. And my uncle managed to get a couple of tickets for a game, and he invited me to go. And I went to watch Liverpool against Manchester City, and of course, you then go to Anfield, and the noise and the ground and the history, and then the players come out onto the pitch, and Kenny Dalglish just lit up the ground, and he was everybody's hero, and he became my hero. And it was then that I progressed into playing the game at grassroots, to being a hero, having Kenny as my hero, to then wanting to be Kenny Dalglish. So it was around that time that I really wanted to be a professional footballer, but that was about 13, 14.
So idolizing football, Liverpool Football Club,
Yeah.
and then becoming a player for them.
I was late into football. It's sort of my generation, they progressed from school into the football clubs at 16, 17. They'd done like apprenticeships.
Yeah.
But I never did that. I was really small, and physically I was really small. Couldn't really compete with the bigger players, the lads who were maturing quicker. I couldn't really compete, so I needed something to do. So I went to a college. I was going to say university, but it wasn't. It was college. And I studied graphic design at college and art, and I really enjoyed it, but deep down I really wanted to be a sportsman, a footballer. So all of a sudden I started growing from 16, 17, just filled out and got bigger, grew muscles, and so next thing I was finding myself being able to compete with the players who had stopped growing. And sort of started doing really, really well, and then got spotted by a scout from Bolton, and I was 20 years old, so I was really late. So then to sign professional football forms and be a professional footballer at 20 years old was fantastic for me. And then you start wanting to, play for your club, which was Liverpool, and you start playing well for Bolton and making a name for yourself. And we went on really good cup runs, and there was me and Alan Stubbs who went on to play for Everton and Celtic. We were making our names for ourselves at the lower leagues for Bolton, and then Liverpool come knocking on the door, and it was never an option not to sign for Liverpool.
Okay,
Yeah.
I tell you what, if you didn't become a football player, did you think you would have become a graphic artist, like you said?
No, because I was rubbish. I was really bad.
Okay.
I finished my schooling and wanted to be a PE teacher, and then my second subject would have been art or graphic design. So I wanted to teach. So I wanted to be a sports teacher. So I always wanted to be in sport and sort of be around sport, and teaching then become an option. But unfortunately, fortunately, I signed for Bolton and never become a teacher.
We will be right back with more on Jason McAteer after this, including...
There was a phone call, and the message come into the dressing room, and the physio of the team, McBain, of the Irish team, he said, Bono's been on the phone and he wants you to go down to Slane. We've got a helicopter waiting for you.